Hey, luck is a luck.
Hey guys, it's Midnight Philoppicer and I'm here with an earlier generation BiLock cam lock. BiLock is a company that's been around since the 80s and is based out of Australia, and the way that their lock works is that there are two rows of pins that each interact separately with a sidebar on both sides. There are usually 6 pins on either row, but some versions of the lock will have 4 pins on either row, so either equaling 8 or 12 pins altogether. There are no driver pins in this lock, but there are springs and key pins, and the key pins have holes in them. Those holes are designed for prongs on the inner side of the sidebar to fit into when those key pins are lifted to the correct height. That will allow the sidebar to retract into the plug, allowing the plug to rotate. Now there are also false gates in this lock, which means that there are some holes that are not deep enough for the sidebar to fully retract, and also it's just in general hard to feel the feedback on these pins. It's in general a pretty tricky lock to pick, but some tricks that you can implement when picking is that often either sidebar will isolate separately, so that means you can pick the pins on one side before the pins on the other side, and you'll feel a slight false set once you get all the pins on one side fully set. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. I'm going to start on the pins on the right side and try to click them all up. I got a click from 3, 2, and 1. Just going to go a bit deeper in. And I got a click from 5 and a slight false set. So I think all the pins on the right side are set. I'm gonna try to focus on the pins on the left side. Field 2 is pretty binding. Yeah, I got a little click from 2 there, or a pretty big click I should say, and a little click from 3, little click from 1, another little click from 3, I'm just tickling the pins at this point because things are starting to feel pretty loose right now. And also in general I find this lock, oh, and the lock's open. I was going to say this lock has very fine balance of tension, and when you press things up too high, then it will have a really hard time coming back down. So just to show that it is opened, you can see that back part rotating, the plug spinning on its own. Okay, I locked it back up. Just gonna zoom out here and we'll take this guy apart. With this cam lock, you can actually just unscrew this bolt on the back, take these pieces out separately, if they want to come out. And the lock, you don't even need a key to gut it. You can literally just slide it out like that. I'm going to put the housing up there. I'm going to take the sidebars out one by one. And of course I don't have my pinning tweezers with me, so I'm just going to have to struggle with my fingers. That's fine. Okay, so that's the sidebar from the right side and the left side. You can see those prongs sticking out of them. And now I'm going to take this plate off. That will allow those pins to come out. Just going to be careful that I don't mangle the springs in the process. Alright, and that plate is off. Just going to put that there. and use the pick to get these springs out one by one. Six on one side. I'll just put them in as fast as I can, so bear with me. They're choosing their own spots. Because there are so many pins in this lock, it's quite a tedious process to take everything apart, but just a couple more minutes and everything will be fully gutted. In the meantime, you can listen to me ramble about nothingness. Okay, here are all those springs out. Now to get the pins out. Use a deeper hook, it'll be a bit easier. If I can line it up properly, there we go. That's number 6 on the left side. 5. 4. 3. 2. There we go. And 1. Okay, now just the pins from the right side, and it's fully completed. And we'll give you guys a close-up of all of these pins. I'll highlight all of the false gates and also the true gates, but you'll notice that many of these pins have more than one true gate, or that the true gate is larger than normal. And the reason for that is because these pins are master pinned, and that essentially just will allow more space for extra keys, but it also makes it a lot easier for pickers because there are way more options for what height the pin needs to be at in order for it to be able to be picked. Alright, so those are all of our pins, springs. We'll zoom in here closely. Okay, so we can see all of those true gates and the false gates. False gates are a little bit harder to see, but we have a false gate, for example, right here. It will catch into that prong and prevent the sidebar from fully retracting. We can see all those prongs sticking out of the back side of the sidebar there, and those are all of our pins there. Here's the actual plug with all the slots that they fit into. Here's where the sidebar and those prongs fit into on both sides. Here's the front of it. Newer versions of the lock will have an interactive element as well, and also a quick change feature in many cases. And here is the 2 grooves in the side. Sorry about the wobbling. The 2 grooves in the side of the housing here that allow those sidebars to rest inside and prevent the plug from rotating when all the pins aren't at the right height. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a good day and take care.